Look, I don't think a violation of the law like this isn't resolved by a call from an unnamed attorney from, in a press release in the Love campaign. So I'm certainly still concerned. What we do understand from what we have gathered in the last little bit is that the FEC actually did in fact say that she has violated federal election law, and she had to return most certainly those funds that were raised after the date of the convention and before the primary. Look, folks, rules matter. She raised money for a primary election when she faced no opponent, and the FEC has confirmed that was a violation at the very least was a violation from the date of the convention through the phantom primary that she never participated in, and she'd have to return those funds.
Tonight, since this call was
and look, I haven't seen the complaint, I haven't seen the letter, it's not posted available publicly, so that's not really how, I'm not prepared to respond beyond that, but what we understand from what we have gathered and some calls we've made, I don't know the source because I was up there the whole time. But
your response to this poll showing you two tied?
Look, it's very encouraging. People are responding to our message. They want a Washington that is bipartisan, that works across the aisle. And my track record as mayor of bringing people together to tackle tough issues, that's exactly what we need in Washington, and the voters are responding to that.
What about how you did tonight? Control of the House does flip. What happens then?
Let me go here and then we'll go back.
What about how you did tonight?
Look, I think it was a debate about the issues. What I wanted to do was raise issues, particularly her votes to cut Social Security and Medicare, to raise health insurance premiums. This is the time for the voters to really see a back and forth between the candidates about issues that are really lifeblood to Utah voters, and I think that happened today. That debate happened.
But there was a lot of tension too. What are voters supposed to make of that?
I would say. Campaigns are about disagreement and highlighting the disagreements from each respective campaign. Representative Love, I like her. I think she's a fine person. We have stark disagreements about some of her votes and her voting record, and I think her votes have harmed Utah, but it's not personal.
I was wondering what happens if you win and control of the House does flip back to the Democrats. What do you think happens next?
I don't know. I think I've always been somebody who works across party lines to find solutions, and that's what I've done as a state senator and as a mayor, and that's what I do in Washington regardless of who's in control.
Saying tonight was actions speak louder than words. Can you kind of go over why you kept re-emphasizing that?
Yeah, look, I think actions do speak louder than words. Representative Love will talk about statements she made or letters that she's written or people who she's talked to. That's all well and good, but we need to judge our elected officials by the results they deliver, not the words that they talk about or the caucuses they belong to or the friends that they have.
Representative Love felt like you didn't have some answers as far as just how you would do things, how you would get things done when it came to immigration and other things like that. What were some of the solutions? You were talking about her record, but yet not bringing up maybe some of the solutions you'd want to do.
Yeah, so at the local level, I have an impressive track record of working across party lines to address things like immigration. And some of the bills that she talked about, I didn't want to get into bill numbers and that and lose people in the context of the debate, but we're going to be tweeting out those bills where her votes have, in fact, voted to raise health care premiums, to cut Social Security and Medicare. My record as the mayor of Salt Lake County, we have very specific actions we've taken to address immigration reform, to address homelessness, to address the opioid crisis, and I'm proud of my record, and it is one of accomplishments, and it is one of results. And if you want to judge somebody by their results, I'll hold my results up any day.
In order for you to win,
a phrase from throughout the debate. Are you saying that there was no positive value to the time she's opposed President Trump, or that just wasn't enough for you?
Look, I mean, we see one or two instances where she's raised her voice. This is someone, though, who will vote 97.5% of the time with this presidential agenda and with partisan interests ahead of Utah values. Now, look, I'm not saying I will oppose President Trump. I will work against him. I will work with him when it is good for Utah, and I'll stand up to his bad ideas. And that's what we need, is somebody who's not going to put their vote on autopilot and hand it over to somebody who doesn't live in Utah and is driving a partisan agenda to the negative impact of people right here in Utah.
And this is your last debate?
This is the only debate. Yeah, I'd be happy to have more. We've agreed to do numerous, but this is the only debate that the Love campaign has agreed to.
In order for you to be able to win, many say that you need to be able to get that Republican that's still undecided out there. Do you feel like you won over some of these Republicans that are undecided here?
Look, I think a lot of these people have voted for me as mayor. We've seen I get a lot of Republican, Independent, and Democratic votes in my previous campaigns. So my message, I think, would be to those Republicans who have voted for me before, they should know that I will be the same person in Congress that I've been in mayor, and I want their vote again this time.
What's your number one most important?
Go ahead.
Can't get to it, that's all right. Thank you. I know it's rough. This is a big one.
Yes.
It won't be like this in the other two.
That will be a strong position of mine. It's something that we've worked hard on at the state level and at the county level, and immigration reform has to happen. Too many people like Henry, who I mentioned, who's a dreamer and working on a degree and not sure if he'll ever be able to put that degree to use. People like Henry need action, and it can't wait.
Democrats take control of the House. It's been floated that impeachment could be an issue that comes up. Have you thought about what that might mean if you were elected?
You know, I think that the Mueller investigation has to continue, and we have to see what that brings forward. And I guess we'll see when that investigation concludes where we are. I will say that I do not believe impeachment is a partisan endeavor. It would, I would want to see things that are that would be serious enough to garner bipartisan support, or otherwise, when you're considering overturning the results of an election, that is a very serious thing, and it should be an issue of last resort, and it shouldn't be done on a partisan basis. Solution, I said interest of last support, I meant, but you're radio, so you got what you got, I guess. So. Sorry.
I was curious what you thought was the most important issue of this campaign. What's number one that you think voters will decide on that's your most important issue?
Look, I think it is, again, her voting record, voting 97.5% of the time with partisan interests and putting those partisan interests ahead of Utah, and the harm that's being done here, whether it's air quality, health care, Social Security. We are seeing a partisan agenda being forwarded by Representative Love to the detriment of people in Utah. And so I hope people see that I'm somebody who will put Utah first, will work across the aisle to enact solutions when it comes to health care and protections against being denied coverage for a pre-existing condition, or protecting Social Security and Medicare. Those are the things where we need somebody who's going to put Utah's interests ahead of a party agenda or the agenda of any presidential administration. Okay, this is where somebody says, okay, Mayor, we got to leave. So, okay, thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. Okay.